So this is it. Episode 16, I believe we're on. Sean Hegarty talks to himself. How are you? How's the form? Hope you're keeping well. I'm in the comedy cabin this week, and I'll be honest with you, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Not exactly look like Christmas, unless you're talking about decorations and stuff, but it's really starting to feel like Christmas. 1 week from today is Christmas Eve. Can you believe it? How quickly has December went? It's unreal. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Sean Hegarty talks to himself. Let's do this bad boy.
Okay, 1 in 83, 1 DEC. Have I got kids? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. James, Charlie, Tom, I'm Rob Flow Strong, and I support the team they call LFC. That's me. I didn't forget to mention McQueen and Steele, and it's spelled like Fiona with a D. Are you happy? If you are, then smile. Sit back, relax, because we're going to be a while. I'm talking to myself. It's time to share the wealth. Do you have any jokes about shit? Piles. Okay, we about to go. I pressed record, I won't turn back, no. I made a cup of coffee, got myself a bun. Now let's have some fun. We're going to start the show. Go.
No coffee for me today, no bun either. Overindulged the past few days, so we're trying to sort of take a step back. Went to the gym this morning, bust my balls in the treadmill, 20 minutes. Absolutely wrecked. But it has to be done. It has to be done. It's the only way, especially when you indulge so much over Christmas. You kind of have to exercise as much as you can. Like, the 20 minutes this morning on the treadmill burned exactly 250 calories. That was my mission. It was like, right, 250 calories. Don't get off until they're done. Try and do them as soon as possible, because let's face it, who enjoys running? And 20 minutes went by, felt so sick coming towards the end of it. I was like now I consider myself to be quite fit. I'm not marathon worthy, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to last 5 rounds in an MMA fight, but I would give it a good go for a minute and a half before I gas out, do you know what I mean? I would definitely be one of those people, but I do like to stay as fit as possible. I do train, not as much as I would like, but it's just about trying to find that motivation, isn't it? It's hard. It's really hard. That's what she said, but we're here. We're doing it. It's another episode. Can't believe we've been going this long. I really can't. And cheers for your support so far. It means a lot that I'm not just, like, even though the podcast is called Sean Hegarty Talks to Himself, it's good to know I'm not actually talking to myself, which is good. You might be able to hear a bit of a scratching noise. My brother's cat is being a massive bellend today. I've been out here for about half an hour just getting everything prepared, getting everything set up for the podcast. And this wee dickhead has... there's a cat flap right here, right by my back door, just to the right-hand side of where I'm recording. And, I can see him. He's a wee dickhead. He's hanging off the roof of the cabin here, and he's just staring me dead in the eye. And I've tried getting rid of him. I put him out the front. The cabin's out my back, or at the side of my house, and I tried to put him out the front, and he's obviously caught on to where I am, and he's just following me and just trying to get in and just hang around with me when, you know, Daddy's got work to do. Well, Uncle Sean, should I say, because it's my brother's cat. And my brother and myself, we have brother cats. My brother's fiancée, Amy, her mum had a litter of cats, and she wanted to get rid of, like, as many of them as possible, because they had about 6 or 7 of them. So he says that we would take one, and my brother says he would take one as well, and now they pretty much just live between the two houses. There's a lot to get into this week, so let's get straight into it. What's been going on this week?
I'm going to say what I've been doing. I'm going to tell you right now I'm going to say what's going on this week. Sit back, relax, and you'll see.
So quite a busy week this week. Quite a busy one. On Thursday we had to go, and we planned a little surprise for my dad. It's his birthday coming up, and we planned a little surprise for him, right? We got my uncle and Andy to come over to surprise him. Now, my dad's brother, right? Did I say uncle or auntie? My auntie and uncle, my dad's brother and sister, obviously. And we paid for them to come over for my dad's birthday, which is this Thursday. And we went and picked them up at the airport. My dad's brother has Down syndrome. He's about 50, maybe early 50s. And my dad doesn't get to see him as often as he'd like. My dad doesn't really travel. My Uncle Pat doesn't really travel. And we thought we would surprise my dad and get him over for his birthday because he hasn't seen him in quite a few years. So we went and picked him up at the airport Thursday, Belfast International. Came back down towards my parents' house, let them out at the driveway. We went and parked and stuff, went up to my mum and dad's just for a normal visit. Then they crept in, went round like the back door and stuff. My mum let them in. And then my uncle just burst out and surprised my dad. Great moment. It was really nice. It's good to be able to do small things like that sort of mean a lot to people, do you know what I mean? Rather than getting someone a fridge magnet and a pair of slippers, it's good to actually do things that are quite thoughtful. So we got a text from my dad there shortly, or just a short time ago, and my auntie and uncle are away back to Liverpool. And my dad was just saying that thanks a lot to everyone. He was delighted with them coming over. So that's what we did on Thursday, which was quite fun. Thursday night I had a gig in Pug Uglies. Myself, Diona, Dave Elliott was MC. It's Dave's gig. He runs it every Thursday night. This was the last one before the end of the year, before it starts back up again, I think in January. And it was a weird one, to be honest. It was very, very quiet, which we kind of imagined it would be. We thought it was either going to be absolutely rammed or absolutely empty, because it's the Christmas season, isn't it? This is the time when people just either go on their staff dues or they can't afford to leave their front door because their kids demand so many presents on Christmas morning. It's really weird, right? See, I think I spoke about this a few weeks ago. We give my kids a page each, I think it was early to mid-November, and said, right lads, you know, yous have X amount of money. There's a laptop each, like my laptop, the owner's laptop, a tablet. Go on our phones, use your own phones, and just Google stuff. Go on Amazon, see what you want for Christmas. Within about 15 minutes, one of my kids had picked all his presents. He had spent every single penny that he was allowed, to the actual penny. And the other two were like, I can't think of a single thing that I want. It's disgusting, isn't it? It really is. Like, two of my kids could not think of a single thing that they wanted for Christmas. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's becoming so much less about being thankful and spending time with people, and it's just about greed, isn't it? It's just about fucking making sure your kids get the most so you can post it online and show everyone the photographs. It's a bit hardcore, and it's something that I've not always took part in. It's something that I don't enjoy. I never post photos of my kids or videos of them, although every Christmas morning what I do is I have a video of them just coming into the room and seeing all their presents in the living room, you know, after Santa's been, and opening all their presents. And I have maybe 5 years, I think, 5 years worth of videos over the years, and that's something that I'll cherish forever. Do you know what I mean? It's from when my youngest was 4 and now he's 9. Do you know what I mean? So it's amazing to see just the growth in them every year, and seeing all the presents that they've got throughout the years too. It's really heartwarming. Yeah, so we did Pug Uglies on Thursday. There was probably about 20 people in, which it's a very small room. It probably seats about 40, maybe 50. So it did look half filled, but obviously you want it to be rammed. And I was going to plan on maybe filming it as well. I was going to set up like 2 different cameras and stuff down with me. I was going to properly film it and then put it together and use it for just online promotion in the run up to gigs in the future. But there just wasn't enough people in for it to be worth it, so I didn't bother filming it at all. And it was nice. So the audience that were there, they were very responsive. A lot of new stuff I did went down quite well. Gives me an idea of what's going to work in the future and what's not. So it was pretty nice, all in all. Good gig. Friday was a weird one. Had a gig on Friday night, right? It was a corporate gig. It was for an administration company in Belfast, and it was weird. It was weird. Basically, right, this cat's just staring at me again on the roof of the cabin. So basically, Friday night, go down to some restaurant where the guys are all meeting. They all meet, right? I says, right, can you show me where to set up and stuff? There was no sound system. There was no microphone. There was no lighting. There was no anything. There was nothing. It was just tables in a restaurant. So I basically had to stand at the bottom of a restaurant, which was quite busy, and talk to 45 people over about 9 tables. And it was bizarre. It was really bizarre. Like, anybody who actually knows me, my friends and close family, would know that I'm, quite shy, and I don't like making a big deal of things. But I was just standing in this restaurant, just going, I have to start shouting soon and command all these people's attention for half an hour, which was it's a long time when nobody has physically asked for a comedian. It's just that some woman who's running the event goes, let's throw a wee comedian in there to have a laugh at them for half an hour. So it's strange. It's so much different than a normal comedy club gig, but it's money in the bank. Do you know what I mean? It's when you do it, it has to be done, and it just sort of makes you think. Like, it makes you really appreciate the comedy club gigs and the gigs that are professionally ran, as opposed to these ones that are just standing at the back of a restaurant and putting the volume on your keyboard full blast and hoping that your batteries last until the end of the jingle. But it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It is money in the bank. It's great to have those kind of gigs coming up to Christmas. They really help, which is pretty cool. Friday night then, I got back Friday night, and we were going to go out to my mum's and have a few drinks and stuff, and then we were like, do you know what, it's not worth it. We had planned to just sort of stay in and stuff. We were like, maybe we'll get a few drinks in. Myself and Diona will have a few drinks. Fast forward like 11 o'clock at night, me and Diona's sitting in a bar in Lurgan, just having epic bants with each other. And it's really weird too. Sometimes in the line of work that I do, you can get noticed quite a bit, and people recognise you in the street. Sometimes they stare at you, sometimes they point at you, sometimes they whisper to their friends, sometimes they come over and ask for photographs, sometimes you have to speak to somebody's mum on their phone. But sometimes you completely forget about the line of work that you do. Do you know what I mean? After a while it just becomes work to you, and you sort of forget that you have that audience, or you have that fan base, or whatever you want to call it. But Friday night when we were out, we had people coming up to us all night. We ended up spending the night with people who we, like, the next morning, Dylan was also, how do you know some of the people that we met? And I was like, we knew one person, the entire bar, but we ended up speaking to about 15 or 20 people. People were getting photos taken. Somebody sent us photos on Saturday of me and Diona pretending to lick the nipples in his shirt. He had his shirt half opened. That's a mess like that. But it's weird. It really is. Seeing people, and they know you, but you don't know them. And I suppose that's time to doing the podcast too. A lot of people, would ask me about my cats and about gigs that I have coming up and about gigs that I had done recently. And I suppose because I've made this quite personal, and I tell people about my personal life, that people know me more and people invest more in my life, and it's strange. It's very strange. It's pretty cool that people actually take an interest in what I'm doing, but it's surreal at times as well. And even when you're grocery shopping and stuff too, it can be very weird. And people are just looking at you, and you sort of are like, oh yeah, that's right, fuck, I do stand up and make videos and stuff, so maybe they recognise me from doing shit like that. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? I remember we got home. I know we got a taxi home, but I can't really remember being in the taxi. But I remember waking up on the living room floor at 4 in the morning, about 15 episodes deep into The Office. Fiona fast asleep in bed, and I'm just covered in Rice Krispies. You know what I mean? So it was a pretty good night. Saturday we lay up, got the curtains and stuff closed mid-afternoon. I watched a wee bit of the football early on in the day. Watched a bit of Soccer AM, love a bit of Soccer AM. And we were just sitting there, we stuck on Home Alone, and we watched Home Alone, which was class. Normally I favour Home Alone 2, so I feel like I've watched Home Alone 2 the past 4 or 5 years. But I've neglected Home Alone 1, and I don't know if it's because it's so old or it's because I just prefer the New York one, that I completely overlooked it for the past few years, so it was almost like watching it for the first time again. And it's a fucking brilliant film. It's a great franchise. It's a great it's a great idea. It's a great feel-good Christmas movie. We just stick it on. You don't have to think about anything. It's silly. It's funny. It's goofy. Do you know, it's very slapstick, especially with Harry and Marv. And they're just great movies. They really are. We were sitting watching Home Alone on Saturday. Our little kitten, who's dickhead of a brother's, running about here on the roof of the cabin. We got a phone call and it was a Belfast number, and I was like, this is a fucking unknown Belfast number. Now we're about 40 minutes away from Belfast, maybe 30 minutes. And it was a vet in Belfast, and they says, we have your kitten. Are you missing one? And I was like, yeah, he's been missing for about 4 days. We had, Diona had posted on Facebook with a photograph of him, and this was the third time that he had gone missing, but he hasn't actually gone missing any of the times. We feel people have taken him. So the first time I told you is about a few weeks ago when we thought he was gone. Like we searched everywhere for days, and eventually some woman who worked at a leisure centre near us just decided to take him home to a completely different town than where he is, and where he has his senses and his smells and things like that. And she just took him home and just kept him, decided just, I'll keep him. Now, we heard on the phone, like when we phoned them, we were like, where is this cat? She was like, well, somebody says that she had let it out to go to the bathroom before taking it to the vets, which she said she was going to do. And the cat ran off, which he would do because it's not his fucking house. Do you know what I mean? He has a home here, and he has his smells and his scents and all his piss everywhere and stuff, so he knows where he lives basically. So he was just running about for a day or so. So we went out to the estate of where they told us that the woman lived, and we just walked around fields and stuff and shouted him for a while. And after about an hour and a half of me, two of my kids, and Diona searching for him, he just came running out of somebody's garden and jumped up into our arms. So that was one of the times he went missing. Then the latest one, we got down to the place on Saturday afternoon, right? The vets were closing. It was like 2:45. She goes, we close at 3, but I've just seen, how far away yous live. And I was like, listen, if you can stay on, that'd be great. We'll be there as soon as possible, probably half an hour, 40 minutes. She was like, okay, cool. Just get here as soon as you can. We're closing at 3, but I'll stay on. So she stayed on. We brought her down a bottle of wine and stuff as in a gift bag as a thank you. And when we got down to pick him up, he had a red collar on. So somebody had fucking taken him again. Somebody had taken our cat and just passed him off as their own, and just obviously let him out at some stage, or he got out at some stage, and he just ran off again. So when we got him back, he was so flat. He was so lethargic, if you want to call it that. He was starving. It was like Storm Deirdre, I think it was, the middle of Storm Deirdre, we went down to pick him up. And even the driving conditions were terrible, so him being out and about in fucking Belfast, which he doesn't know, is just mental. So if you're listening to this podcast and you ever see a cat on your travels and it doesn't have a collar on it, that doesn't mean it's a wild cat. Cats nowadays don't have collars because there are so many fences and gates and everything that they can sort of catch their collars on. Nobody puts them on them because they're dangerous for them. So cats nowadays are chipped. So you bring it to the vet, the vet scans the chip, and the person's name and address and phone number comes up on it. So what we're going to have to do now is get a fucking collar for our cat and for my brother's cat, because if we don't, people are just going to keep taking him. Unbelievable. So I suppose that's what you have to put up with when your cat's beautiful. You know what I mean? Surprised I've never been taken. Right, let's get into some more of these things. Yesterday, what can I say about yesterday? 3-1. What about it? Come at me, dog. Liverpool 3, Man United 1. Fucking amazing. How long have we waited to annihilate Man United? And in terms of how our season's going, Liverpool, by the way, in terms of how the season's going, I'm only going to talk about this briefly. It's a big part of my week, and I'm a massive Liverpool fan, but I'm not going to fucking talk about this too long because no one is tuning in to this podcast to hear me talk shit about football. But in my lifetime, I'm currently watching the best Liverpool team that I have ever seen. I'm 35 years old. I was 35 December 1st. Cheers for all your cards. Didn't get any, dickheads. And just seeing the team that we have now is amazing. And my kids are into it too. Two of them. Two of my boys are massive Liverpool fans. The other one couldn't give two fucks about football, which is completely cool. It's up to them. Do you know what I mean? I've never forced it on them, but it's class that two of the boys actually show an interest and they sit and watch all the matches. So it's good, even if they're at their mum's house. My kids spend half the week with me at my house, half the week with their mum at their mum's house. And if their mum's not doing anything with them, I just text them and I said, you know, like, do you just want to come around for the match? And they're like, yeah, definitely. So that's pretty cool. I go around and pick them up and we come round and they get their Liverpool shirts on and their scarves and stuff out. We pull the TV in, we get some fucking nice food and stuff, and we just have a great time, and we're creating some class memories together, and it's really, really good. And we say it every year, but this actually could be our season. We always talk about next year being our season, but what they're doing at the minute is phenomenal. It's brilliant, and beating United isn't even the pinnacle because they've beat so many teams before that. And in my lifetime, usually the way it works is a lot of the times Liverpool, especially in recent years, they've beat the bigger teams and got beat by the shit teams. But now they're starting to annihilate every single team they play, and it's just a joy to watch. It really is. It's class. So long may it continue, please. So yeah, that's basically been my week. What else can we get into? We've got a few gigs to promote. We'll promote them towards the end of the show. Let's do top 5 jokes of the week. Here we go.
It's the top 5 jokes of the week. It's the top 5 jokes of the week. It's the jokes of the week, and I hope they're not cake.
So this week, December 20th, we are currently on December 17th on Monday afternoon when I'm recording this, but on December 20th, which is on Thursday, is National Re-Gifting Day. So here are 5 jokes based around gifts. Number 5, we bought my grandfather a new chair for Christmas. Jeez, you want to see it. It rocks. It rocks. Thank you. Number 4, I bought my girlfriend one of those tablets for Christmas. The, what's it called? Morning After Pill. Number 3, I'm getting my son a jigsaw for Christmas because, let's face it, that laminate floor is not going to cut itself. And number 2 of my top 5 jokes of the week, my 4-year-old son has recently took an interest in snooker, and I was going to get him a snooker table for Christmas, but when I got to the shop, the keys were too long. I don't think any joke I've ever told on this podcast has warranted that reaction, but it's banter, isn't it? Number 1 of my top 5 jokes of the week based around gifts. Whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, never buy jokes in IKEA. I bought 2 the other day, but when I got home, I had to make them up myself. No idea what that guy is saying. If anyone speaks whatever language that is, please do let me know what that guy is saying. A few more things to do. We're gonna try and keep this about 35 minutes. I'm also recording this for a video as well. Whether it sees the light of day, who knows? Might end up on YouTube. If you fancy watching the video version of it, probably should have said at the start. We're now 25 minutes in. Yeah, it's hopefully going to be on my YouTube channel, which I don't really put that much content on, but there are Hanging with the Hegarty videos up on that now. So every Wednesday we're going to do a live Hanging with the Hegartys. We're going to post it on Facebook every single Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and if you'd like to watch it when it goes out, it's the premiere of the video every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. It's on my Facebook page, Sean Hegarty Comedian. Just search for that. Make sure you like the page, and the videos will be up every single Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And we understand that next Wednesday is Boxing Day, but we're going to do our best to make a video, and it'll be up on the page. So we're doing one in 2 days as well, so it's going to be pretty cool. So I've learned quite a few things this week. Let's get straight into that, shall we?
There's actually loads of things I've learned this week, like absolutely hundreds of things. Where do you start? I don't even know where to start. Probably start at the beginning, but I don't know. There's absolutely hundreds of things that I've learned. You just have to stay tuned to hear what I've learned. It's loads of things, literally hundreds.
So it's the Christmas season, the season to be jolly, and a lot of things I've learned this week are based around Christmas. But one of the things that I read on Twitter, which I want to share with you right before we get into that, is about the love heart, right? This is something I read a few days ago, which is pretty cool. The reason we associate the shape of the love heart with love is because there was a herb named Psyllium that had seeds that actual shape. And Psyllium was such an effective birth control that the Romans ate it extinct. It was the basis of some economies, worth its weight in gold, according to this tweet by Everywhere Erica Wilkinson. So what about that? That's unbelievable, isn't it? That's fucking pretty cool fact. And getting into the Christmas ones, right? I want to share some knowledge because you see a lot of things happen around you, but nobody ever questions them. People are just like, "Oh, Joe, there's a Christmas tree, but why do we have a Christmas tree?" So I put together a few of these for you guys, right? So the image of Santa Claus flying his sleigh actually began in 1819, and it was created by Washington Irving, the same author who dreamt up the Headless Horseman. All right. Check this one out about Rudolph, right? The Montgomery Ward department store created Rudolph the Reindeer as a marketing gimmick to encourage children to buy their Christmas colouring books. It's fascinating, isn't it? The Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square is actually donated to the people of London every year by the people of Oslo in Norway in thanks for their assistance during World War II. Fascinating. The Christmas wreath was originally hung as a symbol of Jesus, which is pretty fascinating in itself, you know. And if you think about it, the holly represents the crown of thorns, and the red berries are the blood that Jesus was supposed to have shed. Pretty cool. And last but not least, did you know that Brenda Lee recorded Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree? This is the original version of the song. And she was 13 years old. Unbelievable. So there we go. So there's things I've learned this week. And we're going to do gigs last, but before we get into that, I want to share a little memory with you all.
Just little tales of days gone by. So Sean shares a memory from 1983, or his memory could be from 2018. The memory he shares should be really funny. I hope it will be. I hope it will be funny. If it's not, suck your mom.
So this memory that I want to share with you is right. This dates back to around, I think, 1990, maybe, which would have made me about 6 or 7, right? Let's even say 91 or 92, where I was just 7, 8, 9. And this Thursday, as I said earlier in the podcast, this Thursday is my dad's birthday, right? My dad's turning 62. And I want to share this next memory of him because my dad is an absolute legend. He's one of the coolest people that has ever lived, and he has done so much for me, and I honestly wouldn't be where I am in my career today if it wasn't for him. And I truly believe that he has passed his sense of humour on to me, and we grew up listening to him tell us jokes, mostly Tommy Cooper, things he heard on the radio and stuff, things he's seen on TV, but at the same time his sort of silly sense of humour has definitely transcended into this style of comedy that I perform in this day and age. So that's I just want to dedicate this to him, right, and sort of share a memory that which sheds good light on my dad and the things he's done over the years. So where we used to live in like a council estate when we were growing up. We lived there until I was about 11 or 12 years old. I think I was 11, and we used to play out, right? We used to just play just in our garden. You know, it was still during the Troubles and stuff. Wasn't necessarily safe to go outside. It was in a pretty rough estate at times. And there was a derelict field out the back of our house, you know, outside the back of all the gardens. And my dad, one day, like, we were playing football in the back garden, and my dad took it upon himself to phone the council, right? He was speaking to somebody in the council. He got them to come down and completely all the grass, just make it so people could walk on it and use it and stuff as a proper field, rather than just this derelict area where people threw their rubbish and junk and stuff. So my dad phoned the council, he got the grass cut, there was bonfires and stuff that had been lit throughout the year, people just burning their rubbish and stuff, so he got them all cleared away, got grass seed and stuff put down. He went to our local park as well. There was a park near us, and my dad was familiar with the park ranger, because he used to talk to him and stuff when the guy was coming to set the pitches up for a local football team that my dad would support and bring us to all the matches and stuff when we were younger. So my dad went to our local park and he borrowed a white line like marker, and he marked out a football pitch. Right now it was a smaller version, but he marked out this football pitch. Then what he did was he got pieces of scaffolding and actually welded pieces of scaffolding together and got cement and stuff, dug holes and made goalposts. Then he went and got fishing net. I think it was fishing net, this really sort of thin netting, like you could have ripped it open with your hands, but he got that as well, and he made a full football pitch like you would not believe. This is early 1990s. Then what he did, he got kids out in the street. He got kids together. He was like, listen, do you want to come and play with my sons? They're going to play football. Maybe we had a ball and other people didn't, or other people had a ball and we didn't, so we got playing together with people. Then over the space of a few months, we sort of formed a little football team. We all sort of supported the same teams around our street, so anybody who didn't have a football shirt, whoever had like the away shirt or another shirt from seasons gone by, would sort of pass it on, and we would all wear these kits and play as like a mini football team. And my dad went to our local sort of trophy shop, or like engraving store, whatever it's called, and he bought medals and trophies. And year after year, until we moved out, like rival streets and other people from different areas would come, just like people would just gather friends, come round to the back of our street, and we would just play full football tournaments, and it was amazing. It was really, really amazing, and I would love my dad to get a bit of credit for putting all that together, because he got so many people from our street and surrounding streets into football, and a lot of people went on to be really, really great footballers, and it was because of my dad and the effort that he put in. While other dads were maybe in the pub or working or whatever they were doing, my dad was just doing the best he could to help the people around him, and that's the kind of guy that he is. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to my dad. Happy birthday for Thursday. And there's a nice little story for you. So to finish this up, we're going to wrap it up in the next minute or two. Let's tell you about some gigs coming up.
Oh, here, I've got a few gigs coming up, scundered anyway. I've got gigs in November, gigs in December, gigs in January, gigs in February, gigs in March and April, gigs in May and June. I've got gigs all around the year, and here are some of them.
So the next gig that I'm going to be doing that's going to be open to the public is going to be in Belfast City Centre. It's on December 29th. And it's in the Argyll Bar, in the Argyll Comedy Club upstairs in the Argyll. And it's on the Ormeau Road in Belfast. So it's going to be on December 29th, as far as I'm aware. Paddy McDonnell is also on the bill, and Colin Geddes is also on the bill too. So that is a fantastic lineup, if as ever you're going to see around Belfast. And if you're about December 29th, it would be cool for you to get down to that. I think it's only like a £5 in or £7 in or something. So it's a great night's entertainment for you there. And as well as that, I'm doing a solo show in Armagh Marketplace. This is like my big homecoming gig. This is the one that I want to plug between now and September. It's on September 13th, which is a Friday night. Tickets are available now. If you Google or just go onto the Armagh Marketplace website, search for my name. That would be absolutely fucking fantastic if you could buy tickets to that. Apparently they make great Christmas presents, giving people tickets to comedy gigs. It's something to look forward to later in the year. It gives people more than enough time to book off work, to get babysitters, to do whatever you need to do. So if you can make it along to that, Armagh Marketplace, I'm doing a one-man show. Fiona's going to support me, I think, if she's free or if she's not filming or working. So that's going to be amazing. September 13th. So the Argyll on December 29th and Armagh Marketplace on September 13th next year. Those are my gigs. Cheers for your ears. if you can support this podcast, you can donate at www.kofi.com, which is ko-fi.com/hegpod. You can donate anything from £3 all the way up to a small lottery win. It's up to yourself how much you'd like to donate. I like to think that the people who can afford it can pay for those who can't afford it. And if you can't afford to donate to the show and you'd like to help me out, just share it wherever you see, wherever you have an audience, and keep doing your thing. If you're creative, keep being creative. If you're still searching for an audience, fucking keep doing your thing, and things will fall into place eventually. All you have to do is just never give up. And I know as well, just before I go, Christmas can be a very, 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 very dark time for a lot of people. So if you're maybe not feeling great, maybe your head's not right, please make sure that you speak to a family member, speak to a friend, speak to a work colleague. Fucking DM me if you need to, if you need somebody to chat to, and just try and get the help you need. The best way to start is by speaking to someone. So cheers for your ears, and we'll see you back here next week on Christmas Eve. Can't wait. All the best, have a good week, and chat to you soon. Ta-ra, mates.